Good afternoon, class. Today we are going to take a lecture on air conditioning systems, on refrigeration and air conditioning. Hope you can hear my voice clearly. Now we move on to the next slide. Now, what are the most common types of air conditioning systems that we are going to study is the first one is winter air conditioning system, then the summer air conditioning system, year round air conditioning system, and there is also one term that is industrial air conditioning systems, or you can say these are the office where office are there and open systems are there. Okay, these kind of air conditioning systems are also there, and all these systems have some general equipments that are being used. So for the first one is, as you can see, it is the circulation fan. The circulation fan. Uh, the aim of this fan is to move air to and so in the room, take a to and fro from the room. Suppose if there is any room and that has to be air conditioned, so this fan work is to circulate the air into the room. Then there is an air conditioning unit which consists of a cooling and dehumidifying process for summer, or heating and humidification for winter air conditioning. Okay. So this air conditioning unit, what does it do? It provides a cooling and humidifying process for the summer and heating and humidification for the winter. Now we will be seeing that how this is done in the next slides to come. Then we have the third main important part, that is the supply duct. Now, what this supply duct does is it directs the conditioned air from the circulating fan to the space to be conditioned at a proper point. Okay, what does supply duct do? It directs the conditioned air from the circulating fan to the space to be conditioned at proper point. Then the next one is return outlets. These are the openings in the room which allows room air to enter the return duct. Okay, what is this? जो भी आपके रूम के अंदर एयर होती है, ठीक है, जो जिसने हीट एब्सॉर्ब कर ली है, उस हीट को वापस से रिटर्न डक्ट के थ्रू रिटर्न कर दिया जाता है, so that it can be reused or it can be exited. Okay, then the next one is filters, and we all know what does filters do. They remove dust, dirt, and other harmful bacteria from the air. So it is basically used to clean the air before it is supplied to the conditioned space or the room. Now I'm seeing that some of the students are raising hands, so I will be taking our questions once I complete. So please be patient. Now I move on to the next slide. Now the next slide is talking about the winter air conditioning system. Now in winter, we all know that atmospheric conditions are generally cool and dry. Okay, these are cool and dry. So the atmospheric air is cold and it is dry in nature. That's why we often see that our skin goes dry out. Our skin dries out because the air pulls moisture from us, from our skin, and itself gets humidified, and our skin gets dried out in the winters. So for the comfort conditions, what we require is that the air should be heated and humidified. So in winters, the process that required is need heating of incoming air and also humidifying it. Now it follows some following steps. Now you can see it from the figure also. The outside air, this is the outside air coming from here. This outside air flows through the damper and mixes up with the recirculated air. Now the outside air which is coming, it is combines with the recirculated air, and then it is passing through a filter. It passes through the mixed air passes through a filter. Then the air is passed through a preheat coil. The air is passed through a preheat coil. You can see it over here. We are having a preheat coil which heats this mixed air. Then the air is humidified with the help of humidifier to set conditions, and then sent to reheat coil. Okay, now what happens is, uh, as the outside air is cold, first of all, it is initially when there is no circulated air, when the AC is just been on, so what will happen is, it will push the fresh air into over here. The fresh air will get filtered, then it will get preheat, so that it moisture can be absorbed, because in very cold air we cannot infuse moisture, so it has to be heated up to a certain temperature, so that we can start adding moisture into it. So after that, a humidifier is being placed, and what does this humidifier does? It provides uh, water droplets in the form of water vapor into this air, which this air carries further, and it reaches a reheat coil, which heats this air again up to the desired temperature for the set conditions which are to be inputted to the conditioned space. And with the help of a circulating fan, this air is sent to the conditioned space. Okay, this air is sent to the conditioned space. Okay, it's written over here same. Reheat coil heats the humidified air to set supply temperature. Okay, na? Whatever is the supply temperature to the room or to the conditioned space, it heats it up to that temperature, and that air is sent to the space, conditioned space. And this heated air, what it does, it gets cooled over here, because we are having a load over here, so it gets cooled, and after that it's it is sent back over here, because the atmosphere is cold outside. So what it will do is, it will provide the heat to the persons or the load which is provided there, so that that load can be heated up. So it gives its heat away to the objects that are being placed in that conditioned space, and itself to get cooled down. So when it is cold, so it is sent back and mixed with the outside air, and then it is again the cycle continues. So this is the process how a winter air conditioning system works. Now we'll move on to the next slide, where we will be seeing the summer air conditioner. This is a summer air conditioner. Now, in a summer, atmospheric air conditions are generally hot and humid. Okay, these are hot and humid. We know that in summers, what we feel is, we feel a high amount of heat, and we feel high amount of sweating also. Now, why that sweating occurs is because air is already having a high amount of water droplets into it, and our body is not able to perspire. That means we are not able to release our uh, water vapor into the air easily, because air is already having a sufficient amount of moisture content. So what will happen is कि हमारी बॉडी से जितना भी वेपर कंटेंट नॉर्मली निकलता था, वो क्या होता था, वो एयर के साथ मिक्सअप हो जाता था, एंड एयर यूज्ड टू गेट सैचुरेटेड. बट इन समर, air is already kind of saturated. It is having high relative humidity. So what it does, it doesn't absorb that much amount of vapor content which is released from our body, and that's why our body, that vapor which is released from our body is present on the body itself, and it contains sweats. That is known as sweating. So now to avoid this kind of a condition, what is done is, we have a comfort conditions, the air required is to be cooled and dehumidified. Now, if the outside air is cooled and dehumidified, that means we can there will be no sweating, because air will be absorbing all that moisture, and it will move away, and it will also provide coolness to the body. Now, how it is done is, again, the outside air flows through a damper and mixes up with the recirculated air, As you can see again in the figure, this is the outside air coming in, and this is the recirculated air, which combines together over here in this area. It combines over here, and it passes through the filter. Mixed air is passed through the filter to remove the dirt, dust, and bacteria. Then the air is passed through a cooling coil, which cools the air as well as dehumidifies it by condensing excess moisture. Now, what is done is a cooling coil is provided, which does both the works. That is, if the temperature of the cooling coil is below or lower than the dew point temperature of the atmosphere, then what will happen? Uh, that air, the moisture present in the air, will start losing its moisture content in the form of condensation, and due to which what will happen is uh, the air will get cooled also, its temperature will decrease, as well as it is condensing that moisture content in the air. If it starts condensing, that means air is now having lesser amount of moisture content. अगर उसका moisture content कम होगा तो क्या होगा? It is said to be dehumidifying, which is required. ठीक है, हमें यही चाहिए. ठीक है, and that is why what happens in the window ACs or in split ACs, you have seen that during summer a lot of wastewater is removed from the system. So a sump is provided here, and in somewhere it is in the form of sump, or in some places you have seen that through a pipe or something, that water is drained out in the buckets in the external form. Okay. So that is basically the moisture removed from the air so that it can uh, go into the conditioned space and absorb moisture over there. So that's why it is dehumidified initially. Now, a perforated member prevents condensed moisture droplets to move further, which is collected in a sump. Now, a perforated membrane is there. You can see it over here. Perforated membrane is there. What it does is, जितना भी आपका कंडेंस्ड मॉइस्चर है वो आगे कैरी ना कर सके, इसके लिए एक परफोरेटेड मेंबर लगाया जाता है, सो दैट ओनली द मॉइस्ट एयर कैन पास, एंड जितना भी कंडेंस्ड water है, condensed vapor है, that can be collected here only. Then we are having the dehumidified air is then heated with a heating coil. Now why we have to heat it again? Now it is being heated again so that because this temperature is very low. The coil temperature, the cooling coil temperature is very low. It is around 3 degrees, 5 degrees, 2 degrees. So this is the temperature of cooling coil, and so is the temperature of air. So that air that is passing through the cooling coil, it is also having a very low temperature, let us say 8, 9, 10 degrees centigrade. But for the conditioned space, for our comfort conditioning, we require a temperature of around 20 degrees centigrade. So what we do is we heat that air so that it can be sent to the conditioned space. Yeah, it is written also here, to reach the set temperatures, as cooling coil temperatures are very low. Cooling coil temperatures are very low before going into the conditioned space. So how it is done and how do we represent it on the psychrometric chart, we'll see it in the slides to come. Okay, so we'll move on to the next slide. Now we are having year-round air conditioning system. Now over here, as there is a term year-round, that means we require a system which has capability for both summer as well as winter. Okay, it has capacity to handle loads of both summer as well as winter. Okay. Over here, outside air flows through a damper and mixed with the recirculating air. It's the same process. Then the mixed air is passed through the filter to remove dirt, dust, and bacteria. It is done in all the systems. Then the next one is, it is having a capacity to bear both the loads during the winter and the summer also. So what is done over here is, in summer, okay, before starting here, I would like to go on to the figure first. Now what all it is having is, you can see after coming from the damp, this is the outside air, and outside air and recirculated air mixes over here and passes through the filter and comes in the cooling coil. Now this air conditioning system has a cooling coil, a heating coil, and a humidifier. Okay, and we have seen that in winter AC we were having a humidifier, but in summer AC we were not having a humidifier, we were having a sump over here. Okay, and there was two heating coils, but over here there is one cooling coil and one heating coil, and then we are having a humidifier over here. Now what happens is, uh, during the summers, what happens, this, we have to cool the air. During the summers we have to cool the air and dehumidify it. So humidifier is, we do not use humidifier, we do not use humidifier during, we do not use humidifier during summers. Why? Because we want to dehumidify the air, so we only activate the cooling coil, due to which what happens is all the moisture that is there is condensed by using the cooling coil, and it is discarded from the system, and the cooled air, cold and dehumidified air passes through the heating coil, reaches the desired set temperature, and then it is set to the conditioned space. Okay, now during summers what we do is, sorry, during winters the rest of the process is same, but now the outside air is cold and we need to heat and humidify it. Okay, we need to heat it and humidify it. So what is there in this process, just a second, this process cooling coil is not used, and we use the humidifier in place of putting cooling coil. Now what happens is, we humidify the air and we heat it with the help of heating coil to the desired temperature. So humidifying and heating is done, and it is sent to the conditioned space, and then the air is recirculated. So this kind of a system is having both the facilities, and they are hardly used, but most of the cases we use systems, air conditioning systems for summers also, summers only. In winters, in the very cold areas we do use ACs, but where there is very too high cold is there, there we are not having so much uh, heat also. So there are different kind of systems that is included, but in some cases where there is tropical kind of environment, we have both the systems. So we have year-round air conditioning, but mostly it is used for summers only. It is most effective in summers, not such so much effective in winters, because we have to preheat the air, and such kind of a system is not available. So we'll move on to the next slide. Now this is an important topic. This is an important topic where we are going to learn about RSHF, GSHF, and ESHF of an air conditioning system. Now, what are all these and how they are drawn on the psychrometric chart? We are going to see it. It is a very interesting topic and important also from examination point of view. So you should go through it clearly. Now we'll move on to the next slide. Now, first of all, we'll have a look at an air conditioning system. This is an summer air conditioning system. I'll write here for you. This is summer air conditioning system. Now over here we can see, I hope it is clear to you. Now we are having different points over here. This is summer air conditioning system we already discussed. There is outside air, recirculated air, conditioned space, the same diagram we discussed just now. Now I'll try to represent it on a psychrometric chart. Just a second. Now this is a rough draft of psychrometric chart. On the x-axis we are having dry bulb temperatures over here, and on the vertical axis, y-axis, we are having humidity. Now let us suppose there is an outside air is at a condition 1, that is known as the ambient condition, and it is somewhere over here on the psychrometric chart as it is shown. Now generally in summers the outside temperature is high. You can see this is the increasing dry bulb temperatures. Over here the dry bulb temperature is pretty high and it is having a higher humidity. So we want to remove this kind of temperature, we want to cool it, and we want to dehumidify it. Okay, so what happens is we use a cooling coil which is at a temperature 2, or it is also known as apparatus dew point, because this apparatus can provide a dew point which is that of the cooling coil. So it is a minimum temperature that is present in the system. So it is known as apparatus dew point, and it is labeled at point 2, which is nothing but the cooling coil temperature. Okay. Now what happens is initially the outside air comes from here and it passes through the filter and it reaches the cooling coil. Okay, na? What will happen is now this air at point 1, it will first start to cool. So it will be sensibly cooling, and when there will be sensible cooling, it will follow this path. As you can see over here, this line, it will follow this path and reach the saturation point. Now once this air reaches the saturation point, now what will happen, it cannot further saturate, और ज़्यादा saturation तो इसमें नहीं हो सकता. तो अब क्या होगा, it will start to, when it will be cooling, it will follow this line, this curved path, and it will try to reach point 2. It will try to reach point 2, and in this process what will happen, it will condense more and more. The vapor present in the air will condense more and more, and it will start to dehumidify. The air will start to dehumidify, and we will reach here, and you can see it. This process is a sort of cooling and dehumidifying, and it can be represented by this straight line also. Now it is the case when we are having only the there is no bypass factor. That means, what is bypass factor, we have already discussed, that the entire air that is coming from the outside is coming in contact with the cooling coil, and it is totally, its temperature is totally converted into the temperature which is that of the cooling coil. Okay, if you are able to convert this condition of air totally into this condition, then we are going to follow this line, but generally it doesn't happen so. But in the meantime, it removes the moisture which is contained over here, and the amount of moisture which it removes is from 1 to 2 if it reaches point 2 completely. Okay, now we'll see what how the bypass factor will be there in the points to come. Now let's move further. What's happened is it is not reaching that temperature, and I have already told you that this temperature is very low, and we do not need to supply this temperature, so we heat it at a particular temperature so that we can reach a particular design conditions. Now let us suppose we reach a design condition at point 3, which is somewhere over here. Okay, it is somewhere over here, because now how this point is reached, the air has cooled from this point, but it do not reaches the point 2, but it reaches somewhere near about here, and then it is heated to reach the point 3 in this direction. in the horizontal direction it reaches. Now what happens is after reaching point 3, this air is supplied to the room at the conditioned space. Over here what it will do, it will start absorbing the heat, it will start to absorb the heat and will get heated and humidified. Now it adds both latent heat, which is humidification, and this sensible heat. Both heats are added over here, and it will reach a conditioned space of room maximum design condition or room exit air condition, that the room condition should not exceed this temperature. It will reach at point 4, and what it will do is this air is now discharged from the room with the help of return ducts, and then it is sent to the this point where where it recombines with the outside air. Now this is the position of point 4. Okay, that is the room exit point, and over here it is the inlet condition. So the next point is the mixed point. Now before that, if we join this point 3 and 4, we get a line which is known as room sensible heat factor line. After that, we are having a point 5 where this mixed recirculated air and outside air gets mixed over here in this condition, and now it flows. Now where this point 5 lies on the psychrometric chart is because it is a combination of 4 and 1. So if we draw a line joining 1 and point 4, so the point 5 will lie somewhere over here, okay, in the middle, in the ratio of their mixing. So in this case, as you can see, it is more towards point 4. That means the recirculated air is more, the mass of recirculated air is more and the outside air is less. So that's why this point is towards the recirculated air point. Okay, and if we join the point 2 and 5, then we get a line which is known as Grant sensible heat factor line. Okay, and if we join the point 2 and point 4, that is the cooling coil temperature and the exit air temperature from the room, if we join these two lines, that it means it is the effective room sensible heat factor line. Now these three lines are important. Okay, now the most important line that is there is room sensible heat factor line. Okay, and that's why I've shown it with red, and it is the portion where actual heat transfer takes place within the room. Okay, this is the heat transfer within room from 3 to 4, as you can see over here. So in the room, it absorbs both kind of load, the sensible heating load, that is the horizontal travel, and the vertical travel is the latent heat or the moisture added. Okay, so it also have both the things. इसमें दोनों चीजें होती हैं कि जो आपका रूम का लोड है उसमें बाहर से कोई हीट तो नहीं आ रही, all those load is incorporated in this part only. Okay, the rest of the things are for measurement. Now the 0.5 the Grant sensible heat factor line जो है, ये अगर आपका जो point है, if your conditioned space से जो आपका जो recirculated air है, if this recirculated air is combining before the cooling coil, then we will having the Grant sensible heat factor line, which is represented by purple line. But if this recirculated air is joined after the cooling coil, then we will be having this Grant sensible factor line as the 0.12 line. जो 12 लाइन है ये हमारी Grant sensible heat factor line हो जाएगी. ठीक है ना, ये कैसे होगी ये हम न्यूमेरिकल्स की फॉर्म में देखेंगे, ठीक है, इन द नेक्स्ट लेक्चर. बट आज के लिए आपको फिलहाल बता देता हूँ, ठीक है ना. Grant sensible heat factor line क्या होती है? Grant sensible heat factor line is how much your cooling coil is working. Okay, it is working, how much it is working. That means suppose अगर यहाँ पे recirculate the mixed air is over here, ठीक है, हमारे cooling coil से कौन सी air आके टकरा रही है, which has to be cooled. ठीक है ना, यहाँ पर क्या है, mixed air है, and mixed air has to be cooled by the cooling air. ठीक है, so the Grant sensible heat line will be drawn with the cooling coil and the mixed air. Okay, बट अगर यही recirculated air सपोज यहाँ पर आकर के मीट होती, मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ with the help of a line. If it would have been joining over here, रिसर्कुलेटेड एयर यहाँ की जगह इधर आकर के मीट हो रही होती, ठीक है, तो ये 0.5 भी आपका यहाँ पर आता, ठीक है। एंड इन दैट केस जो आउटसाइड एयर थी वही आकर के कूलिंग कॉइल से हिट करती डायरेक्टली, और कूलिंग कॉइल को ये वाली एयर को होल्ड करना पड़ता। तो उसके लिए इन दैट केस द ग्रैंड सेंसिबल हीट फैक्टर लाइन वुड हैव बीन लाइन जॉइनिंग 1 and 2. Okay, now the time is short, so I will move. Now over here what we are doing is, these are the, we have seen the three lines: grand sensible heat factor line, room sensible heat factor line, and the effective sensible heat factor line. Now the line 3 and joining 3 and 4, when it is extended and meets the saturation curve, this point is known as your room dew point temperature. Okay, and there is a cooling factor of cooling bypass factor of cooling coil, which can be found out. Now for this condition, the bypass factor of cooling coil can be said to have the temperature of D3 minus the apparatus dew point upon temperature of D5, taken, and that is dry bulb temperature at 0.5 minus apparatus dew point temperature. That means this much portion should have been cooled, but only this much have been cooled by the cooling coil. So this much amount has been bypassed. इतना क्या हो गया है, bypass हो गया। तो उसको निकालने के लिए formula we are having bypass factor of cooling coil as this. Now this can also be calculated with the help of the if you are using effective room sensible heat factor line, then also it can be calculated. But over here you have to take a line parallel to this and draw it from here to here, so that we have a point over here that is 3 dash, and it will now have the same ratio. Now this is the bypass factor, and it can be given as bypass factor is equals to this T D3 dash minus ADP upon D4 upon ADP. Okay, so this is basically the construction of these different lines and how it is made. If you do not understand, I will be putting this video back onto YouTube. This recorded video will be put on the your YouTube channel, and you can see it over here. And in the next class we will be having numericals based on this formulation, so that it will be a revision also for you, and you will know how to apply these concepts. Okay, so I hope I have tried my best so that you can understand it. So I would like to say thank you, and I will be taking some of the questions. And do subscribe the channel because it's for you only. So now you can ask any questions. I am going to unmute you now.